FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into a incredibly busy Monday morning edition of the JP Peterson Show. Oh, wow, we got so much to get to this morning. A lot of college football, coaching talk. Billy Napier has been fired. Mike Norvell has not, which is more surprising. I'll say Mike Norvell at this point. We've got Bucs Lions tonight to get to. We have incredible baseball over the weekend. USF just continues to roll and only moves up one spot in the AP poll. Not sure what's going on there. Crazy day in the NFL. So much more to get to. And we'll welcome in Nick Gaddis from On3 Sports to help me get through all this morning. How are you, Nick?
I am or holding up okay. I think I'm still recovering from staying up till like 4 o'clock in the morning on on what, Saturday night into Sunday morning. That debacle, which I would love to just never see again. But other than that, I'm doing good. And you know that the beautiful thing is, JP, as some of the college teams in this state let down, or at least two of the college teams in this state, let you down. I guess Miami is a third after what happened on Friday night at Hard Rock Stadium. But the good thing for those who are Tampa natives, and if you're a Bucs fan, is you turn the page and you look forward to tonight, and it almost feels like I almost forgot. It's like almost like it's gone under the radar, if that's possible. A big Monday night football game on the road against the Detroit Lions for supremacy in the NFC. I mean, this is the stuff you live for right here.
Oh, we just got an update here from, by the way, good morning to all the Petermans who not only make this show what it is, but also add juicy comments. Since we're on the show, we can't be perusing Twitter. And Kenneth says FSU AD Michael Alford just announced they're sticking with Norvell through the end of the season.
All right, so forget everything I just said.
Well, now that may mean that he has his guy, because there is no pathway forward at Florida State University where Mike Norvell is the coach. There just is not. There is not. In judging from taking the temperature of some boosters over the weekend, there is no appetite for Mike Norvell remaining as the coach. The only question is the buyout, when, how, all that. So those things, I think, are very much being worked out right now. I don't think Mike has a whole lot of he's well-liked, and as a human being, nobody has anything bad to say about Mike. He's done everything the right way. He says all the right things. He's very good at politicking. He's very good at hype speeches. He's just really bad at coaching football. Really, really bad at coaching the game of football and getting his team prepared to play. He has built no culture there. He's built no identity whatsoever as a football team. And when you have no culture and no identity, you have no program. You have no stamp. And in 6 years, you have to have shown something in that regard. And it's been a wild ride of incredible fluctuations. So the absolute, there is no scenario where Mike Norvell remains the coach after this season. And so if that's the case, to quote the old warhorse, George Patton, if it must be done inevitably, it must be done immediately. And I'm paraphrasing. I mean, what are we doing? Now, listen, I have a lot of faith in Michael Alford. I think he knows what he's doing. I know there's a lot of people that may not think that. I disagree with that. I think he's done a hell of a job getting that stadium done in 18 months. What they've just done to that is an incredible accomplishment from an administration standpoint and fundraising standpoint. The football-only facility is about to open as well, and I'm not sure why you want Mike Norvell being the MC for those festivities whatsoever. I don't get that. But I do have a lot of confidence in Michael Alford. And I think if they're going to stick with Mike for the rest of the season, that means they have a pretty good idea who their next coach is. And that next coach is probably very much involved in a playoff type season. And they're going to have to let it play out. So we got a lot to get to here. So I don't want to get right into the FSU stuff right away. So we're going to do it kind of, I want to get to obviously the Bucs Lions first. It's our, we are a Tampa Bay show. So we're going to get to that first. And then we'll get through all the college football stuff. Because obviously the University of Florida search, those candidates are going to be the same candidates that Florida State's looking at. I mean, listen, we're going into this, I think, with our eyes wide open. And I understand if indeed, we have not confirmed this, Kenneth, but thank you very much for putting it in there. If indeed Alford has given him the dreaded vote of confidence, it means nothing. It means nothing.
They actually, the statement has been put out there. Everybody's blasted it out now.
Okay, cool.
From Michael Alford. I guess the key thing at the end was he said, meanwhile, we are fully committed to helping Coach Norvell and the 2025 Seminoles strongly rebound in the coming weeks. There's some stuff that says, at season's end, they will conduct a comprehensive assessment of the football program. So it seems like the kiss of death, but that's the statement, and we'll get to it later in the show, obviously. But that's the breaking news.
All right, so we'll get to that, and we'll read through it. And I have a Florida State fans, you're not going to want to leave. I have a juicy nugget. Came from a really good source. I'm not going to report it as fact yet because I got to get double confirmation. But I'm going to give it to you anyway because it's a nice juicy nugget. So stand by for that. That's a bad tease, but I'm doing it. All right. So Bucs and Lions tonight. Emeka Egbuka. Hello. Showed up in practice. Evidently practiced well. Is in play for tonight. And remember this, he did not limp off the field like Mike Evans did. Like, I didn't even know Egbuka was hurt until they said something about it in the press box. I did not even know he was hurt. And then they said he's doubtful to return, then he's not returning. And then after the game, I watched him walk into off the field and into the locker room, and there was no hint of a limp whatsoever. Like, I was like, wow, he's not even limping, like not even close. So it certainly wasn't the same situation as Mike. They did the MRI early in the week, and he shows up in practice. Now, listen, they got 4 defensive backs down, the Lions do, right? So there's one school of thought that says, okay, if it's iffy, why play Egbuka? You should be able to get the job done, you think, with Mike Evans, Tez Johnson, Cam Johnson, Sterling Shepard. I mean, these guys have proven they can play, but they're not Egbuka. And again, this game, just like the Eagles game, might decide home field advantage for the NFC Championship game. I mean, we're to that point now. And that has to be a huge consideration for the Bucs. And if Egbuka can go, he's got to play. It's not a game like, we can take a few guys off and still beat the Lions. Even though I know they're beat up in the secondary. I get that. But that's all the more reason to play Egbuka and score points. Because I'm here to tell you, the Lions are going to be scoring points. I like this Bucs defense. At times, it makes plays, but at other times, it fully goes to sleep and you get 5 straight scores. The first half of the Eagles game, nothing like the second half of the Eagles game. First half of the Seattle game, nothing like the second half defensively. So it's been inconsistent at best. And I think the Lions are one of the best offenses clearly in the game. They're playing at home. They need a win. I expect this to be kind of an up and down the field type of game. And you're going to need Egbuka, and you're going to need everybody. And it's a big freaking game. If you want to talk about winning, look, this team has a chance, obviously, to win the Super Bowl at 5-1 and haven't even been at full strength yet. This team has a chance. Now, do you want to just go out and have Egbuka tear up the hamstring for the rest of the season? No. You got to monitor it, obviously. And you go into the game if he does play and you say, look, you feel anything, you're coming out of the game. We're not going to risk the rest of the season. So, and listen, and by the way, every game is a risk. You know, I love sometimes people, oh, you can't risk it. Well, he's going to come back at some point, and then you're risking it. It's football. It's always a risk. Everything is a risk in football, and a big risk. So you just got to put your players out there, and, you know, if you think they can go, make your best judgment and do it. You don't, because I can tell you this, you certainly don't want to leave him on the bench if he can play. In a shootout game like this, you're going to need everybody. So I'm in favor of getting him out there. And again, when it comes to injuries, we don't know shit. We have no idea what's going on. We can sit here and make all these, but we don't know anything compared to what they know. So to come out, and I saw some stuff on Twitter this weekend, it was like, you should not play Emeka Egbuka. Absolutely not. But you don't even know what the severity of the injury is. So you got to trust. You got to trust the doctors and the strength staff that they know what they're doing. And I think for the most part, they have not shown that they don't. I think there have been some mishaps, but again, we don't know what the situation is. We don't know the information. So it's very hard for us to be critical about injuries when we have probably about 5% of the data that they have. So let's just, we'll table that. But Mike Evans is playing tonight. Maybe we see Egbuka. It looks like Benjamin Morrison is in. Looks like Izzian is in. Looks like you've got all your defensive backs, which is going to be big. And I talked to Zion last week, and it's like, yeah, we got to tackle, man. We got to come up and tackle, get to the ball, and that's what it is. To get Jahmyr Gibbs, to get David Montgomery, Amon-Ra St. Brown, get these guys on the ground when they catch the ball. If you can limit the yak, and I think the Lions may lead the league in that. If you can limit that, that's a huge part of the defensive effort. That's what they did last year when they went up there and won and held them in the red zone. That's got to be a huge part of what you do well tonight. So a huge game. I think the Bucs are 5.5-point underdogs in this. That kind of shocks me, to be honest. I love the Bucs and 5.5. That seems like a lot. So 7:15 start tonight, or is it 7:00?
Yeah, 7. It's probably going to be 7:15 because ESPN keeps pumping 7, but that's probably just whenever they go live to Aikman and Bucs. So I guess plan for 7:15. Because by the way, side note, I like the 7:15 start time for Monday Night Football. I don't know what it is, but just having the hour up, sounds really good to me. But besides that, I think what I'm looking most forward to about this game, the Bucs finally having their full secondary in one game. Like, I don't think that's happened yet. And honestly, I probably could count on one hand how many times I feel like that's happened in the Todd Bowles regime. It just feels like the Bucs always are just cursed with injuries back there. And clearly, I mean, the Lions would love to have that too. The Lions don't have a single starter who I think is going to be healthy for this football game. So that to me that could be the big difference in this ball game. I mean, there's talented players on both offenses. These are two of the best offenses in football, probably two of the best play callers going right now in football, all of that stuff. But you look at this Bucs secondary, it's like Jamel Dean is playing. I don't think I'm getting ahead of myself, JP. I think Jamel Dean's playing at a close to all-pro level right now.
No, he is. All the metrics.
All the metrics, the numbers, whatever you want to use, show that Jamel Dean's playing at that level. Jacob Parrish has been awesome in his role. Benjamin Morrison, when we last saw him play against Philly, was really good, locking up A.J. Brown and stuff. Zion is there, and then you have Ty Key and Winfield. Like, hello. This is like, I'm happy to finally get to see what this all looks like with all these guys together. So that's a big deal. You touched on the Egbuka stuff. The way I see this, you're playing the Detroit Lions. Okay. They're coming off a loss against the Chiefs, in which, they're going to be very upset about how they played in that game, right?
Yep.
They're at this game at home. This is all hands on deck for me. If you can play, you play.
You play.
That's the way I view this. If you're playing the New York Jets or the Miami Dolphins or the Las Vegas Raiders or something like that, then maybe I don't have a Egbuka play. But the beautiful thing is, this is an injury that maybe for most players, some veterans in this league, it would sit them for 2 or 3 weeks. But, there's something beautiful about the fact that Emeka Egbuka turned 23 years old 6 days ago. And, when you're younger, you heal faster. I think we know how that goes. Right. You absolutely can probably.
And I don't think it was a bad injury to begin with.
Right. I couldn't even find. Did anybody ever even find the play where he even got hurt on? I
haven't seen it.
I never even saw it. So it's touch and go. It might be one of those things where he goes out and warm up, runs around a little bit, and if he can't, then he won't play. But if he doesn't feel anything, he's going to be out there, and we'll go from there. But all hands on deck for me tonight.
I totally agree. So, and I think here's one comment that we haven't talked too much about this week. John O'Leary said, 77, Charlie Heck will have a hard task tonight, but let's give him props. Last week, he was the highest rated offensive lineman. Coach's son, he will give effort and discipline. He's earned his pay, support with the tight end, and he will hold up. He played the PFF rankings confound me when it comes to offensive linemen, to be quite honest. So it is what it is. But I think you got to help him. Do not leave him out on the island like Liam Cohen did last year, and he got 5 sacks. That's not going to happen. So we won't start the game that way, asking someone to do something that they're not able to do. I think Brizard has done a tremendous job so far this year, helping the tackles and keeping Baker upright, and for the most part, giving him time to throw and be able to run a effective offense with, about at times 0 guys starting in their natural positions on the offensive line. So he's proven to me that he can handle that part of it. So they're not going to let Charlie Heck just stand out on an island. Yeah,
this might be one of those games where, similar to the early part in the season, you're probably going to see a lot of Cade Otton, down there on the line next to him, if I had to imagine. And I think that kind of, like, to me, goes in line with the Abuka thing. Like, if he could play, let him play, because I don't think you're going to see Cade running down the field as much in this football game. Yeah. Because I think the Lions defense it's really simple. Like, you take Aiden Hutchinson out of the game, and I look around there. Now they do get Aleem McNeil back, that's a big deal in the middle and the interior there. So Bucs are going to have to account for him. But if you take Aiden Hutchinson out of the game, or you at least limit him just a little bit, there ain't nobody else on that defense that can stop you. And I'm pretty confident of that.
Yeah, and that's why if the Bucs can get a couple turnovers tonight, and they've been good at it recently, that's going to be huge in this game. I guarantee, this is as obvious. I get it. Whoever wins the turnover margin is going to win this game. It's typically one of those games. So let's get Jared Goff in some complicated situations, get some heat on him. He'll throw you one every now and then, no question about it. He's had his moments. So let's get some heat on him. The rush, the 4-man rush has not been great. It's gotten better. I think Bowles, if you go back and look at last game, there were some moments, but for the most part, it's been ineffective. So I think he's going to have to draw up some stuff. But here's the thing. The Lions have seen everything the Bucs can throw at them. Like Zion told us last week, this is like a divisional game now. They're playing for the 4th time in 3 years. They know exactly what they do. So there's going to be little nuances, and it's going to be a great game of chess where, you're going to show one thing, something that you normally do, and I was like, oh, we know what this is. We know how to counter it. And then you got to flip into something different that takes advantage of it. It's the whole double cross thing, and it's going to be going on all night long between the play callers on both sides. Now, remember, the Lions obviously are 7 games in, so the coordinators have settled in, but it's still, these are 2 different coordinators for the Lions against the Buccaneers. So I think that's, obviously the Bucs have a new offense coordinator themselves. So that's going to be a little bit of a very interesting part of the chess match. So early on, look at formations, look at coverages, and see what's happening. And kind of, I love playing along the chess match as well. But here's the thing. The Lions, especially defensively, are so depleted. They're so depleted in the secondary. They don't have many coverages that they can honestly go to. They're going to have to be pretty vanilla just because of their personnel. And the Bucs should be able to take care of that. They should be able to take advantage of that. If the Bucs don't score 24 points tonight, that's a whiff. That's a whiff. They've got to get to 30 points, and I think you might need 34 or 38 to win it tonight. And I'm not dissing on the Bucs defense. I just know when Jared Goff gets hot, and he's done that against the Buccaneers, not last year, although they had some numbers, they just couldn't score. They moved the ball. So we'll see, but red zone defense, which the Bucs have not been great at, is going to be big, and it was the reason they won the game last year up there. I think the Lions were 1 for 7 in the red zone in terms of touchdowns. So that's going to have to be big again, and that's part of the chess match. So yeah, I can't wait though. This is going to be one hell of a fun football game to watch.
Yeah, I love like the chess match that's going to be on display here, because there is so much familiarity with these coaching staffs, and John Morton is somebody I think we're starting to get to know now. on the other side of Ben Johnson not being there. But I didn't even know this until I did, really research into this game. John Morton was Todd Bowles' offensive coordinator in 2017 when he was head coach of the Jets. So those guys go back a long way. And so John Morton had the quote that I'm sure everybody saw that went around, that Todd Bowles has been keeping him up at night trying to figure out. And they're expecting, an onslaught of Todd Bowles just bringing extra guys on virtually every play. That's what they're expecting. But I feel like we've had this conversation the last couple times that these two teams have faced off and how good Jared Goff is against the blitz, right? And
Yep.
That's remained true this season. He's got the highest passer rating in the league and the highest completion percentage in the league this season against the blitz. But interesting enough, he's also been sacked 9 times as well into that. So it's kind of a little give and take there when you bring the blitz. But, so the 4-man rush, like if they're going to have to go into those looks, like, yes, absolutely. It's got to be better. You got to finish. I think the Bucs have been victimized of other teams getting the ball out really quickly against them this year. And so that's been part of the reason why the 4-man rush, I think, looks as ineffective as it has. But yes, that's the interesting chess match into it, is Morton versus Bowles. Who's going to get the edge right there, because these guys have so much familiarity with one another.
All right, here's your betting guide. The Bucs right now at Hard Rock are plus 5.5. You could probably get it at 6 on some other books if you're looking to bet the Bucs, and I would look for that. That's a big number. The total is 53. I think they scream over the total tonight. The Bucs are plus 225 as a money line winner. I love that bet. Absolutely love that bet. For props tonight, and a lot of people, like I have Emeka Egbuka. I'm starting him tonight on my fantasy team. I'm pretty sure he's going to play. But if he doesn't,
you went all in.
Well, my other options were not great. I had Jamar Chase, which was nice, but I still need some points to win tonight. But I think he plays, and if he doesn't, I can go get Shep or Tez Johnson if he doesn't make it tonight. So, which I think both of those guys will. I think Shep will definitely have more targets tonight than Tez. Tez might have more yards, but have options. So, for props tonight, I would definitely go. I got to feel like Mike Evans is going to get a touchdown tonight. He's plus 125 to get a touchdown. You gotta know Bake's coming that way.
I love the video. I think it was Logan Robinson maybe, who covers the team, that put the video out there that he caught of Mike at practice on like Friday or Saturday. Where Mike had his pads on and full, like, ready to go.
Oh yeah,
somebody had to tell him, like, hey, we're not practicing in pads, bud. And he just like took them off. But he had this look on his face, like, I mean, he's motivated to get back into that lineup. He's motivated to get to 1,000. I know that, and he's got work to do. But he had a lot of work.
Tonight's a big night for that,
Yeah, tonight's a big night for that. So yeah, Mike Evans getting in the end zone. It seems like almost. I mean, you can't go wrong. You can never go wrong with that bet. You can never go wrong with that bet.
Sergio says Lions favored by 6 is kind of a slap in the face on the Bucs. I agree. 6 points, 5.5. Come on. Yeah, that's a lot.
Especially when the Bucs are, like, even at this point, like, the Bucs have their injuries, but they're kind of healthier.
Yeah.
In this game.
Yeah. They're. I love the Bucs in this spot tonight. I just do not get that 6.5. I don't get it. I would slam that, and I bet I get it now too, because that's going to come down towards game time. Let's see, Baker 240. I go over that for passing for Baker. Goff is at 263. I don't. The Bucs defense could come up with a real, without getting all their guys back. I'm interested to see what they do tonight in the secondary, because they've got a lot of options. So I'm not gonna. I think the Lions are going to score points, but I don't know. I think the Bucs are definitely going to score points. Receiving yards, I'd stay away from Kate Otten tonight. Sterling Shepard over 31.5. I like that. Mike Evans over 61.5. I love that. I mean, Mike, normally you can't get a number lower than 80 or 90. And if you got 4 defensive backs out, including 2, I like Mike over 61 tonight, big time. Receptions, Mike 4.5 at minus 150. I think he's going to get at least 10 targets tonight. 10, 12 targets tonight. I don't think they're going to be shy about it.
I know.
Rachaad White.
I couldn't even tell you who's like going to be even lined up against Mike. I couldn't even tell you, to be honest with you.
Rachaad White over 3.5 receptions. Love that as well. Rushing the ball, Rachaad White over 49.5. I might stay away from that one. So I think they're going to throw the ball a lot tonight. His receiving yards will be better. So that's some of the props for you. I like tonight. All right, let's I think most of the comments here are regarding FSU and UF. So let's go ahead and take.
We have a few that we have Bucs related ones if you want to get to.
All right, let's get
especially.
The Bucs ones.
I'll start the super chat here from Meets McGee. He said on pass
thank you,
plays,
Meets McGee. Appreciate you.
Pass plays, I would motion a tight end to Hutchinson's side and put a helmet right in his chest plate, and I believe a Buka hamstring tweak happened on a bad pass.
Okay, thank you for that, Meets McGee. I agree, and the one thing you know about so far is Grizzard is really good at helping out the tackles. I think Baker's was sacked once last game. He has not been sacked a lot this year. He's had pressure, no question about it. He's done a great job getting out. But for the most part, I think they've done a really good job helping out Charlie Heck.
Yeah. We had comments here at the top from Bucks Basement. He said, JP, I know that when you heard Ibuka was potentially going to play, you had flashbacks to the Ravens game last year where Evans played when he shouldn't have, and we lost him for 4 weeks.
No, because the Evans thing, you saw him come up lame in the game. And then you put him back in.
Mike also has a history of this, and we know how this goes.
Right. He has a history of it. I don't know if Ibuka does. And again, I didn't see Ibuka limp off the field. I didn't see him limp off, into the locker room. I didn't see any of that. So I think it's two really different things in my mind. Bucks Basement also says, Bucks +6 is so disrespectful. Everyone says NFL gave Lions bullet board material to take it out on us. Well, the league has been disrespecting the Bucks all season, including Baker. I think Baker's getting his due, frankly. But I see
they found their new story, and it's Daniel Jones. They found their new comeback resurrected story. So,
and that's a hell of a story. It's a hell of a story.
There's a hell of a story. Mac Jones even yesterday on Sunday. I mean, that wasn't the best Mac Jones game. I think he's played other games that were better, but continuing to win though for the 49ers. I mean, there's stories all over the league with these quarterbacks, man.
Yeah, and what's the consistent part of that story? Good organization.
Good coaching, good
organizations, other weapons around. It's funny. Mac Jones put in a situation where you've got a neophyte head coach, and then just look at Urban Meyer. Some of these coaches are just knuckleheads, and you get you have the worst team, the worst record, gets the number 1 pick. Cam Ward, for God's sakes. How quickly are they going to ruin him? Thank God they got Callahan out of there, but who's their next move? For a organization that's going to hire a guy like that, what's your next hire going to be?
Well, I love the two names being Matt Nagy and Arthur Smith just absolutely sent me last week from Rappaport.
Boy, that gets you fired up, doesn't it? If you're the Tennessee, especially watching your former coach do so well in New England, that's got to be a bitch, no question about it. All right, any other Bucks questions we have in here? No, I don't see any. All right, let's get a break. We'll come back on the other side and we'll die. I'll give you FSU fans my nugget when we come back in the Norvell stuff. And we'll get into Lane Kiffin and the Gators. A lot of my Gator fans seem to think this is a layup. Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. They are local, they are trusted, and they get results. If you're involved in an accident, it should be your first call to the Jeeves Law Group. Go to the website, JEEVES lawgroup.com, and you can get the number there. You can email them, set up a free consultation and case evaluation. The Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. Scott Chief's been calling for the firing of Billy Napier for quite some time. You got your man. Thank goodness. Let's see if you get your coach. And the great folks at Riveters. No place better to watch the Bucs game tonight than Riveters. Plenty of specials going on. Get there early for happy hour, 3 to 7 o'clock, so you can get primed and ready to go with their $3 domestic, $5 well drinks. Great stuff in the well as well. Great food, great service, everything you need for watching football at Riveters. And you can watch Game 7 as well. We got a Game 7 tonight in the American League Championship Series. So you want a place to watch lots of stuff. You got 2 football games and the Game 7. Much more when we come back. Stay with us.
Experience the art of driving at Genesis of Tampa, where luxury meets innovation and every detail is crafted for you. From the bold G70 to the refined GV80, Genesis delivers power, elegance, and technology years ahead of its time. Book service online, and our Genesis Experience advisors will pick you up and drop off your vehicle. If available, you can enjoy a courtesy car while yours gets a complimentary interior vacuum plus a generous offer for your trade. Every new Genesis comes with the Miracle Advantage Plan, 10 years or 250,000 miles of powertrain warranty and 4 years of complimentary maintenance. Visit us at 801 East Bears Avenue or online at genesisoftampa.com. Genesis of Tampa, luxury redefined. Italiano Insurance would like to congratulate the Bucs on their 50th anniversary season. And you know what? We've been here for every season and then some, over 60 years in business. We've seen some smart coaches with great game plans, but if you don't have flood insurance or business insurance, that's a terrible game plan. That could ruin you financially. You don't want to take that L. So call 813-877-7799 and let their friendly agents quarterback your insurance and save you big money. Italiano also sponsors our FSU report every week, so go Noles. 813-877-7799 or go to italianoinsurance.com. JP here for Riveters, our new official sports bar and grill of the JP Peterson Show. And just like our show, no BS, no corporate chain feel, just amazing, authentic folks serving great comfort food in a casual atmosphere at unheard of prices. Riveters is located just south of Raymond James and Steinbrenner Field on Dale Mabry, walking distance to the park, so free parking, great place for pregame and postgame. Let's talk about fresh food. Nothing is frozen. Burgers, wings, prime rib, roasted fresh daily, never frozen. That makes a huge difference. The mahi, the salmon, also super fresh. All our sauces are original recipes made in-house. Our Warhawk chili and fully loaded potato soup is made fresh in-house. It's the best food anywhere, served by people who actually care. Riveters on Dale Mabry, just north of 275, just south of where the Bucs and Rays play. We'll see you there. Are you looking to renovate your home, rebuild after the hurricanes, or build your dream home from scratch? Well, let me tell you about my friend Jason Fawcett and On-Site Construction. They have over 1,450 satisfied clients, 25 years of experience, over 500 designs, and a talented team of over 40 construction professionals. They believe building something exceptional begins by truly focusing on all the details, even the smallest ones. We understand that construction can be a daunting process, and we're here to make it as smooth and stress-free as possible. Quality is non-negotiable at On-Site Construction. We use the finest materials, employ the most skilled tradespeople, and adhere to the highest industry standards to deliver a product we're proud of and that you're going to love. Our project management is meticulous with a focus on completing projects on time and on budget. Your happiness is our primary driver. So give us a call at 813-579-5789 or check out our incredible website at onsiteconstructionfl.com. Are you having legal issues with a business partner or other legal business issues? The attorneys at Walters, Levine & DeGrave can help. Call 800-616-0384 for a free consultation. At Walters, Levine & DeGrave, we've redefined what a law firm can be with top-tier attorneys, personal service, and 26 years of success. From business law to civil litigation, we deliver smart, client-focused solutions. Walters, Levine & DeGrave recently won a $6.4 million jury verdict from a large real estate developer, and they can win for you too. Walters, Levine & DeGrave. Let's solve it together. Not attorney spokesman. For a free consultation, call 800-616-0384 or go to walterslevine.com. Offices Tampa, Sarasota.
Let's go.
Right now. Back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here on this very eventful Monday. We've got lots of college football coaching stuff to talk about here coming up. We will. Oh, I just had a notification. Having some technical issues here, but we'll fix it for you. We got lots to get to here in this particular moment. Nick, I will ask you to let's go ahead and hit another break here real quick. I've got to make a switch over to my phone here from my laptop. We're having some issues, so let's hit a quick break, and we will come back, and I will we'll talk about the FSU situation. I will have that nugget for you. I promise you. Still only half the break time of your local radio station. So one quick break, we'll catch up, and then we'll be able to go about good 45 minutes on all the college football stuff. So, all right, let's hit that break.
Hey, JP here for my concierge medical professional, Chris Lugo, PA. You've heard him on the show for a couple of years where he shares invaluable medical, nutritional, and supplement advice. With Chris, it's like having a medical provider as your best friend. What I love about this concierge service is the convenience and support he offers. I can text or call him 24/7 with any questions or concerns, and he'll promptly call in a prescription if needed. No office visits or copays required. It gives me peace of mind knowing I have someone genuinely invested in my health, not just focused on insurance profits. And the best part, the Bay Area Modern Medical Center's personal concierge service is more affordable than you might think. Don't let insurance companies dictate your health care. Take control of your health and wellness today. Visit BAMMC.com for more information and to schedule your initial free consultation. Empower yourself and take charge of your personal health with BAMMC.com. Are you looking to renovate your home, rebuild after the hurricanes, or build your dream home from scratch? Well, let me tell you about my friend Jason Fawcett and On-Site Construction. They have over 1,450 satisfied clients, 25 years of experience, over 500 designs, and a talented team of over 40 construction professionals. They believe building something exceptional begins by truly focusing on all the details, even the smallest ones. We understand that construction can be a daunting process, and we're here to make it as smooth and stress-free as possible. Quality is non-negotiable at On-Site Construction. We use the finest materials, employ the most skilled tradespeople, and adhere to the highest industry standards to deliver a product we're proud of and that you're going to love. Our project management is meticulous with a focus on completing projects on time and on budget. Your happiness is our primary driver. So give us a call at 813-579-5789 or check out our incredible website at onsiteconstructionfl.com.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, voted number 3 People's Choice Award on Open Table. I want to thank all our loyal family of customers that have been enjoying our great traditional Italian dishes we make from scratch every day. It's a great family story we're proud of. Our family moved from Rimini, Italy in 1984. My dad, Caesar, started Donatello, and that's where I got the start in the restaurant business. I started Caffè Paradiso on South McDill in 1995, and we've been there ever since. From our traditional ossobuco, a veal slow roast for 4 hours, to our daily fresh catch, the Gruppo Paradiso, with a piccata sauce and lobster claw meat, homemade pasta like lasagna, farfalle salchicha, which is a bow tie pasta homemade with fresh sausage. Hold on a minute, JP's favorite.
I love it.
So come and have a glass of wine with me on South McDill. Get a reservation on Open Table and see all our 5-star reviews. Ciao, see you soon at Paradiso.
Are you having legal issues with a business partner or other legal business issues? The attorneys at Walters, Levine & DeGrave can help. Call 800-616-0384 for a free consultation. At Walters, Levine & DeGrave, we've redefined what a law firm can be with top-tier attorneys, personal service, and 26 years of success. From business law to civil litigation, we deliver smart, client-focused solutions. Walters, Levine & DeGrave recently won a $6.4 million jury verdict from a large real estate developer, and they can win for you too. Walters, Levine & DeGrave. Let's solve it together. Not attorney spokesman. For a free consultation, call 800-616-0384 or go to walterslevine.com. Offices Tampa, Sarasota.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, we're back. Sorry, guys. Thank you for sticking in here for a few more minutes. And a big thanks to our good friends at Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799. Make sure you are up to date on all your flood insurance, your business insurance, and your home is properly insured. All right, you can hear me, Nick? Everything looks good?
Yeah, I got you. Okay.
All right, cool. All right, let's get into first of all, I got to apologize. I wanted to mention this off the top of the show, but we got into it so quick, so I apologize. There was some tragic news yesterday that came down, Bucs related. Doug Martin, player I covered his entire career here at the Buccaneers, passed away yesterday at age 36. The statement from the family was, "We are deeply saddened." From the Bucs. We are deeply saddened to learn of the sudden and unexpected passing of Doug Martin. From his record-setting rookie season in 2012 to multiple Pro Bowl selections during his 6 seasons as a Buccaneer, Doug made a lasting impact on our franchise. He was a fan favorite during his time in Tampa Bay and was honored as one of the top 50 Buccaneers of all time for his numerous achievements. We extend our heartfelt condolences to his family, friends, and everyone whom Doug touched throughout his life. The cause of death is unknown at this time, or unconfirmed, according to his family. There's a lot of stuff out there on the web, and I have no idea what's true and what's not, so I'm not going to get into it. It'll come out when it needs to come out. But what's concerning, there's a lot that's concerning about this, but this is the 4th member of the Bucs 2012, 2013 teams that has died before the age of 30. Vincent Jackson.
40, you mean?
The 40, yeah.
Yeah.
40, yeah. Vincent Jackson was 38, Mike Williams, 36, and Daniel Tianisham was 30. And now Doug Martin. Just generally speaking, a lot more people are dying at a younger age. You can attribute that to whatever you'd like to attribute it. There's plenty of stuff you can read on the web about that. But it is concerning that a lot of them are pro athletes as well, who should be very healthy people. Now, just in general, the research shows that playing in the NFL cuts about 10 years off your life, but 38, 36, 30, and 36, the ages these guys are dying are just ridiculous. And it's just tragic. It's tragic in so many ways. And, Vincent was one of the most tragic. I mean, I don't know how you measure these things, but a dude that was such a big part of this community, had so many friends and family, and was universally beloved, and just one of the greatest dudes ever. We didn't know that he was battling with alcoholism and CTE, which in combination can obviously be very deadly. And, but it's believed that Vincent took his own life. Was on this show a couple weeks before that happened. Remember it well. I remember telling the producer, I don't think you were around, Nick, at that time. I remember telling the producer, are you sure that was Vincent? Like, it didn't sound like him. It was his phone number. It was just a different dude. And I don't know what happened to Doug Martin. All I can tell you about Doug Martin is when I covered him, he was a dream. Always had a big smile on his face, was always upbeat, was a hell of a player. Had a great nickname that he did not like, the Muscle Hamster. I thought it was very appropriate. He was, like a honey badger. That guy was unstoppable. Set the Bucs record, 251 yards against the Raiders and 4 touchdowns, 1,471 yards as a rookie. The dude was, he was tough to tackle. He was the offense for the most part. And a great guy, great teammate, tough as nails. Gone way too soon. Yeah,
I would say, in an era where we didn't have much to smile about as Bucs fans, I think Doug Martin provided a lot of joy in his play. Particularly his rookie season in 2012 is one of the more underrated rookie seasons, period, all time. And then 2015, I think he went head to head with Adrian Peterson for the rushing title in the NFL all year long. I don't think you really haven't seen that from a Bucs running back really ever. Necessarily competing for rushing titles. So and probably one of the more popular players, honestly.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You still see a lot of Doug Martin jerseys.
Yeah, you see Doug Martin jerseys everywhere. If you go to even some sports bars around town, if you go to them, you'll see. I think it's the place there on Dale Mabry, Brick House, I think, Tavern. has a Doug Martin jersey right there on the wall and everything. So you still see the jerseys everywhere. The muscle hamster, he didn't like the nickname, like you said, but we all sort of identified with that. So it's heartbreaking. And so many guys from those teams. I mean, Mike Williams, Vincent Jackson, Doug Martin, Daniel Tianisham. Don't forget Geno Hayes as well, who was another former Buck around that.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
On those teams, but he was right before that. So it's unfortunate. Absolutely. Yeah. Life is not fair.
And fleeting. Boy, I tell you what, it's one thing you find out these days. It is fleeting. All right, let's get to the there's no easy segue from something like that, but just thoughts and prayers to his family, and may Dougie rest in peace. All right, to the FSU situation and the Florida situation. First of all, Billy Napier fired after beating Mississippi State, which a late interception in that game saved Florida from the ignominy of Mississippi State getting their first SEC win under their new coach Levy in the first 2 years. That was heading that way, but big move by the defense, stepped up late in the game, and they got the win. But as we reported last week, and many other places reported as well, the die was already cast for Billy Napier. He was going to be relieved of his duties. It was interesting. I was listening to my old buddy David Neal doing the broadcast on the SEC network, and of course they have to address the elephant in the room, and they have to talk to Scott Strickland, who gives them the official line. There has been no meeting of boosters. There's been no decision made. There's been no, and we're all like, yeah, there has. But that's what he has to say in these situations. So remember, folks, not everything that's quoted is true. It's the way the game is played. It's kind of disingenuous. Well, it's really disingenuous, but it's, the way things have to be, I guess. I don't know. So now Florida has an opening, and everybody is talking about Lane Kiffin going to Florida. I know the Kiffin family a little bit, and I can tell you this, that anything you know about Lane Kiffin in the past, you can throw out. He is a transformed dude at 50 years old. If you go watch some of the stuff that's out there on him doing hot yoga and the meditations, and he doesn't drink anymore, very holistic. He's a different dude. He's a different dude than he's ever been. And he certainly found a home at Ole Miss. And I think it's a place that really serves him well. He makes a lot of money. He's a god there. He can do whatever the hell he wants. Nobody bothers him. And I think and I don't pretend to know exactly how it works with the boosters, but I can pretty much say that they know they have the best coach they could possibly have there. He's 2, 3 10-win seasons in a row at Ole Miss. Now, the only question you ask, and I'd like to get your take on this, honestly, Nick, because of the younger generation. I don't know what Ole Miss, what their kind of brand is like. I've been around for a while, and everybody knows what their brand has been for many, many years. The Rebel Yell, the Old Reb, all this. There's a lot of tropes, racist tropes that have, kind of stood the test of time at Ole Miss. I don't buy into any of that stuff. I understand it, but I completely understand it. I completely understand that there are a lot of kids that will never play for Ole Miss. They're just, it's just, and it's always brought up in recruiting, negative recruiting against Ole Miss. And I don't know if that stigma still exists with the current day athletes. Maybe they just want to play for Lane Kiffin. They just want to play in the SEC and all. And I think that's exactly the way they should look at it. But I also understand long held branding and negative recruiting. So what is your sense, Nick, of how Ole Miss is looked at in terms of being I don't know, a place where maybe a lot of black athletes, and that was very public. There have been a lot of black athletes that would say, I'm not going to play at Ole Miss. What is the current branding, you think?
I mean, I don't know much about that side of things. I was just going to go in the direction of I think you'll hear a lot of people saying like, okay, Florida is undoubtedly like a bigger brand, a better job, more resources than Ole Miss. Ole Miss
100%.
to me, the way I've looked at it is like, I don't know if trendy is the right word, but like kind of hipster for the SEC. And maybe that's because Lane is like the ultimate like hipster coach in a way, if that makes sense. Like he's his own man. He's his own man, and he's evolved a lot. But here's the thing, and I could say this about anything in college football right now. I think a lot of people are going to approach this hiring cycle. They're going to approach, in particular, this Florida job, the Penn State job, and all the other big openings that come around. And they're going to view it with a 2020 lens or a 2015 lens of, well, that's the bigger program. Right. That's the easier place to win because of what's here, what's there, what's not at the place you're leaving.
But
it's changed so much. I don't think that matters as much. I think if you find a place that you have a good grounding in, you're already making a good amount of money.
Right.
The program believes in you and is willing to give you everything that you want, a chance to succeed. To me, it's easier just to stay put and continue. You're going to get the revenue money. You're going to get the revenue money either way at Ole Miss or Florida, whatever.
That's right.
Florida fans, if you take over the Florida job, I mean, it's not like a proceed with caution thing because that is still a job that should demand the highest possible candidates. But you are walking into quite the pressure cooker and a fan base that is tired of the BS and is tired of going through this cycle for the last 15 years on the other side of Urban Meyer. And just
17 years since they won the SEC, bro.
Right. And just wants it to end. And so that's a lot, I think, to handle for a lot of guys. And so, I mean, look at Cignetti. Curt Cignetti is coaching at Indiana right now. This is the first time in my lifetime that Indiana has had really any sustained success. And you could probably say that about even your lifetime too, right?
Yeah.
Curt Cignetti could have been the most desirable candidate, the most talked about candidate, the most desired candidate, whatever, this hiring cycle. He stayed at Indiana, and he's probably going to remain there for the rest of his coaching career because why? They invested in him. He feels comfortable there. Like it works for him. And I feel like that's going to be the case that you see with a lot of these jobs is everybody's going to get bogged down in, well, what's the bigger brand and what has more resources? What's this and that? To me, that's a way of looking at it from 10 years ago when things have changed dramatically. I think it's going to be incredibly difficult for a lot of these schools to think that they can just pluck any coach that's currently sitting in the SEC in the Big Ten to go to these places. I think it's going to be harder than people think.
Yeah, you could put Eli Drinkowitz in that.
Why would he leave?
Right, and I think these coaches are why would you leave? Because eventually you're going to get fired. But so you would just keep taking more money until you have generational money and get those buyouts. That's why you would leave. He probably doesn't have the buyout, but he can just get that buyout though at Missouri too. All you got to do is. If Jimmy Sexton isn't already his agent,
that's got to stop too. I mean, somebody's got to put their foot down here and enough with these buyouts, man.
Well, nobody individually is going to do it. There's not like Florida's not going to say, "All right, hey, Lane, we want to hire you, but we're done doing the buyout stuff." Okay, well then,
I'm not
taking the
it's
job.
hard. You probably can't put the toothpaste back in the tube, but
it's gonna have to be legislated. In some way, either by the NCAA or by the legislatures, they've got to figure out a way. Because if you can limit the compensation for athletes, you can certainly, legally, then you can certainly limit the compensation for coaches. There's got to be, I would hope, that some national legislation could be put forward or in state legislation can be put. Of course, if you do state legislation, then Alabama will say, "Oh, we're not passing that because we want to have an advantage." And Georgia will do the same. No southeastern state will pass that. So it's got to be done. It's got to be done from an NCAA wide thing. So, and how that gets done, I have no idea. It's part of the big problem of college football now. There's no centralized system whatsoever. No centralized rules. Everything's different from conference to conference, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't know how they attack it, but it needs to be attacked. Now, that being said, money is not going to be a problem for Ole Miss, to your point. Money, if they want to retain Lane Kiffin. And now the money's so big, is like, okay, so Florida's going to offer you $15 a year.
okay, Ole Miss is going to counter with 13 a year. What's the difference? Like, seriously, what's the difference? So I think guys like Lane Kiffin are going to look more for lifestyle fit. And to your point, why would you want to go into the pressure cooker at Florida when you can get players, you have enough money, you're in the SEC, you're on TV all the time? Like, to your point, 10, 15 years ago, I need to go to a higher profile program so I can get, primetime games and stuff like that. Ole Miss is in primetime every week. Play well enough, but you're going to be in primetime. So it's really.
And I encourage you, everybody should watch also. Again, I think we pumped it out a couple weeks ago. You should watch the E60 thing. If you're anybody that thinks Lane Kiffin is leaving Ole Miss,
right?
I'm telling you, watch the E60 doc that came out last month. I'm telling you, you watch that. I'm sorry, I know it's a docuseries and everything, but you don't get the sense that guy's in any rush to get out of Oxford because of of how it changed his life, really.
Right, and I can tell you on a personal level that I know all that stuff to be true. That's on that documentary. It's all true. It's not hype. It's not spin. It's all true. He's a different dude. He's a different dude. And everything that he is ascribing to right now in terms of a mental and spiritual awakening that he is in, going to Florida would, I think, be antithetical to all of that. And I don't mean, and that's and the same thing at FSU. FSU ain't getting them either.
Yeah. And I was going to say too, to keep in mind with Lane Kiffin, granted this, again, we've been talking about he's a changed man. He's different. Keep in mind, Lane Kiffin has had to take over Tennessee in that situation on the other side of Phil Fulmer, which was not easy. And then he had to take over USC, I believe, on the other side of Pete Carroll, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so, yeah.
Neither of those situations really went well.
Right.
If I recall, you were there. I was younger, obviously, but you were.
No, listen, and that was all. I mean, and Lane wears all of that. He said that was all on me. I was a different, very immature person.
Yeah. My point is he's already been in two highly stressful jobs in his career as a head coach, and I think it kind of led to some. I'm just going off of what he said himself in that thing. It kind of led to some bad habits, and it kind of it turned his life very negatively.
Yes.
And now he's at a place where, he talked about, this is the first time he's around his kids and everything. His daughter is at Ole Miss. I think she's in college there and everything. I just don't see him leaving Ole Miss. I just don't. I know that you should still pick up the phone and call, because if Florida could get him and he wanted to go, absolutely knock yourself out. Go get Lane Kiffin. I mean, he fits I think Florida fans have been chasing something that's this Spurrier sort of reincarnate. And it's funny. He wears the visor. He's a great quote. He's very witty. He's got these Spurrier tendencies to him. So yes, it would absolutely be a slam dunk if you can get him. What I don't want to see Florida do is don't go into the direction of I see Jed Fish's name listed on all these things because he's a Florida alum and all that stuff. Man, Jed Fish hasn't proven anything at big time college football yet. No. I know Washington and maybe a fun team or whatever. He's 11-9 at Washington. That to me is something you can't do if you're Florida. I don't want to see him go in that direction. You always swing big first, make whoever has to say no, and then you go from there. But that's something I don't want to see Florida do.
I agree, 100%. I would look at Eli Drinkwitz. I think that would be, if I'm Florida, proven he can win with less at Missouri in the SEC. I think he's one of the better game coaches in college football. That's where I would start. Well, I would start at Lane. I'd make Lane say no, and then I would go to him. Because I as much as I like James Franklin, I don't know if I don't know. I think from the very beginning, Gator fans would be like, ugh. I don't think they would be excited about James Franklin, because it's almost like, okay, he's been given everything. And he can't win big games. I mean, and I don't necessarily believe that to be true, but the numbers,
the numbers are the numbers.
Yeah. Moving forward, he can't win big games. I don't think that's true. I think he can win big games. Look at Todd Bowles. He's become so much better coach over the last 3 years. You can teach an old dog new tricks. You can learn how to win big games. I think that's true. You can get other coaches that can help you out in those situations.
Yeah.
Because he certainly can build talent, build a program, set a culture, recruit talent, develop players. He's got all that. It's just when he gets to the big game, what is he, 2-22 against top 10 opponents?
You talking about James Franklin?
Yeah.
4-21.
4-21. Yeah, it's brutal. The
Yeah,
numbers
but
are brutal.
What I was going to say, though, the other part of this hiring process for Florida that we have to consider, and this is the part that makes me really skeptic about everything. I don't believe Scott Strickland should be making another freaking hire when it comes to Florida football or anything for that matter.
That's
I'm not,
the other elephant in the room.
I'm not even a Florida. I'm not a Florida fan, at all. But that just seems mind-boggling that this university is going to let Scott Strickland make another football hire. I don't trust it one bit. I do not trust it, and I don't think a single Florida fan trusts it one bit.
Again, look at the numbers. Yeah, it's not gone well. It's not gone well. Yeah, so I have a real hard time. I have a real hard time with Strickland making that decision, and that's something where Florida now. How does that work? So their board of regents now has to decide. Okay, is this going to be the guy that's going to make this decision? So that's a really weird thing you got going on there. That dynamic because. Whereas, does Strickland think he's in charge? Is he in charge? I don't know. So that's another piece of it. All right. So let me get to this nugget before James has a conniption over there. So obviously the big thing for Florida State here, and we'll get back to the whole Florida thing too. We'll look at some other things is the money. All right. So it's estimated in order to fire Mike Norvell and hire a new coaching staff that it's going to cost Florida State $100 million. That probably seems about right. With the buyout right now, it's $63 million. So now that's a ridiculous amount of money. It's a ridiculous amount of money. And the buyouts, we're not going to go down that rabbit hole now because it would take up the rest of the show. So this is what you're faced with. And I think by kicking the can down to the end of the season, that 63, I believe, becomes a 56 or something, 55. I think they saved $9-10 million, something like that. So this may be the reason why they're not going to fire Norvell mid-season. So that's part of it. Now here's the nugget. So obviously all these programs are looking for new revenue streams, and obviously Florida State's looking for new revenue streams. They went to court, got what they wanted from the ACC. So now that they can get more money. Thankfully, not due to their performance on the field, but all the performance on television, what are the ratings, things like that, although the performance on the field matters as well. And we'll get to the Stanford game, by the way. But the rumor is around the big money people that there's a big chunk of money coming into Florida State soon. Now, what could that be? Naming rights to Doak Campbell Stadium? Seminole Hard Rock, Doak Campbell Stadium. Does that sound good? Does that sound lucrative? It does to me. It does to me. And a lot of we're seeing Penn State just got a huge deal with Adidas. There's word that there's a big deal coming down the pike for FSU from Nike as well. So if you add a new Nike deal and a possible naming rights deal for Doak Campbell Stadium, by the way, does anybody have a problem? Nick, do you have a problem getting rid or minimizing the name Doak Campbell for Seminole Hard Rock if it's going to get you enough money to move on from Mike Norvell?
I could bitch and moan about everything, but at some point, it's like I hate to just be like we have to accept it, but yeah, what is my bitching and moaning going to do about it?
Well, especially since it's not like pro player underwear stadium, having it called Seminole Hard Rock or Seminole Stadium, for Florida State.
At the end of the day, you're always going to call it Doak. You're always going to call Florida's field the Swamp. Like it just, it is what it is. Nobody's going to change. Nobody's going to call it anything different. But
just in terms of the narrative that FSU doesn't have the money to get rid of Mike Norvell, I think that's not true. They do. They're not I think there's a lot of people out there that feel like Florida State's a very poor program. It's not like a lot of the blue bloods, but it's
not
certainly
even
not
the
poor.
money. The buyout though, like you don't owe any money up front. I think that's an important part of this. Like I think Florida has to pay Billy like $10 million or something, and within 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't owe anything up front. You're paying his salary until like 2030 or 2031. I know they would rather not do that. And I know all the stuff, 100 million, like I got that, and that's why JP, honestly, like, and this goes for all coaching carousel, because things are getting crazy. Like there's already like 10 openings and I don't think we're done. I mean, Florida State, barring massive turnaround, is going to be open. Auburn looks like it could be open. We'll wait and see on LSU, because that always seems like it could happen.
Yep.
But I would caution athletic directors, and I know they don't exactly deal in patience or doing the right thing or the smart thing a lot of times. I would caution firing your head coach right now unless it is absolutely untenable. Unless it is absolutely untenable, I would caution doing that, because there's going to be so many big time openings. There's only, and like the point I mentioned earlier, I think it's going to be really hard for these teams to just pluck any sitting SEC Big Ten coach to come to their program. Like, you're going to be digging pretty far down your list for your next head coach, paying a lot of money for that head coach. And I got news for you. Not everybody's going to hit on their hires.
That's right.
It's just not going to happen. That's why I was a little perplexed why Penn State decided to pull the plug so quickly on James Franklin. I didn't think that situation was untenable. Florida, that situation, I just watching it on TV the other night, JP. I don't know if you saw the end of that game live.
Yeah, a little bit. I didn't hear it.
When they had the interception, man, the players really went over to Billy Napier. They gave him the ball. It seemed like, I don't know if Billy lost the locker room in Florida.
I don't think he did. No.
I think that at the end of the day, Billy just, game management never improved. He never relinquished play calling duties. Like, that was his undoing. So untenable, I don't know, but it was one of those things where, like, you just knew he was never going to get better, so you had to do it, I guess. Florida State is untenable now.
It's untenable. You are correct.
And Saturday night, if you didn't think it was untenable after Pitt, Saturday night was the telltale, because it spilled over to the field. Yeah. Those players had quit in them, and they had a lack of buy-in. Mike's yelling at players on the sideline because they're making mistakes, and then they're continuing to play in the rest of the game, so there's no accountability. Mike looked broken, defeated. He looked like he wanted to cry. And we've seen that a lot over the last 2 years, but especially that night. Like, it's untenable. And so this statement that they put out today, delaying the inevitable, I think is embarrassing, to be honest with you. And you're going to let this guy open up your new football facility later this week. You're going to let this guy come back 2 weeks from now at Doak Campbell Stadium against Wake Forest, and the PA announcer is going to go, and your head coach, Mike Norvell. You're going to let that be said in your stadium? All you've done by delaying this is you've made this even more toxic for the next 6 weeks. That's all you've done. You're hurting recruiting by doing this. Recruiting's going to take a hit regardless of what happens, but especially this is game over now.
Right.
Like, what good does any of this do?
The only thing I can imagine is it's just about money. It's about money. That's the only thing I can think of. Because to all your points that you just had, and I'll add to this, there was some reporting done that, of course, what happened on the field with was it Joseph came off the field. Yeah, it was basically an altercation between Mike Norvell and Joseph, and he went back in the game. Right, he was playing.
He jumped offside on a field goal.
Right,
that was missed.
Inexcusable.
Inexcusable. And then he was the guy that got beat for the touchdown.
Yeah,
a couple plays later.
Right,
and then he continued to play the rest of the game.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah,
complete lack of accountability. We talked about this last week. Complete lack of accountability. And you talk about a guy that's lost the locker room. So there was some reporting, and I don't know.
This morning from CBS.
Yeah, CBS, that there were guys laughing in the locker room after the Stanford loss, and specifically saying the word respond, which is Mike's big, rallying call. Respond. So now he's become a joke in his own locker room. And I think that to be true from what I hear. Yeah, the players don't have Mike's back. I think they see him as a phony, to be quite honest. He's lost it. He's lost, and these losses are so inexcusable. To have the players to beat Alabama, I mean, it's almost self-indicting. You go out and you dominate Alabama, and then your team basically regresses again. And for whatever, who knows what's going on in terms of, I think a lot of this has to do with the NIL, who gets paid, who doesn't get paid. You know, I went back to this decision many, many years ago. I talked about Norvell when I thought he was the right guy. And he was deciding on, you know, there were a lot of guys knocking on the door to become the quarterback of Florida State. This was before the 2023 season. And Jordan Travis had played okay. You know, it shown some, you know, they'd won 10 games, I think. So he'd shown some flashes, but he was, you know, there was a lot of talk that he wasn't a very good, you know, passing quarterback. He was limited. He was just a guy who ran around and threw the ball, blah, blah, blah. But Mike took the temperature of the team and knew and found out correctly that Jordan was the heartbeat of the team, that he was the leader of the team. Everybody loved him. He played his ass off. You know, and that was what galvanized that 2023 team. It wasn't Mike. It wasn't his staff. It was the players. And they had really, really good players. The Jared Verse, all those guys. They were tremendous players. And you see a lot of them in the pros today. That was clearly the anomaly, and it had very little to do with Mike and his coaching staff. And this is a joke. Last year was so disgusting. You just had to. You don't even want to think about it any. But now it's like rolled into this year, and it's clear when Stanford is the 93 third-ranked team in college football. 93 out of 130.
And make sure you mention that they had backups all over the place. On that.
I was just getting to that. Backup quarterback, backup running back, backup offensive lineman. Unbelievable. And you let them not only hang around, but you let them beat you. Let them beat you. And then late in the game, it's a minute 38 left in the game. You have all three of your timeouts. You're at the 50-yard line. You're a freshman quarterback who comes in, Kevin Sperry. And, of course, everybody's like, well, he's not ready. Why is he not ready? The Pitt quarterback's a freshman. He looked ready last week. Why is Kevin Sperry not ready to play? Because you haven't gotten him ready coaching.
Well, you're going to be shocked to hear this, JP, but the Pitt quarterback this year against this past week against Syracuse, I think threw 3 interceptions. But continue.
No, there you go. But not against FSU.
Right.
And so he, you know, Sperry gets a grounding call, whatever, because he was under duress because they're blitzing, and evidently FSU has no idea how to pick up a blitz that you can see coming a mile away, and the quarterback has no idea how to throw a hot route. I mean, it's just so basic. And so intentional. As 4th and 19, you got 3 timeouts left. You got to get a stop anyway, whether it's at the 50 or at the 5. So instead of punting the ball away like any reasonable coach would do on 4th and 19, 4th and 8, go for it. 4th and 9, okay. 4th and 19, there is no play for 4th and 19, except defensive pass interference or holding. You're not going to make it. And so, but you could kick the ball, get a stop, force a punt that they'll have to punt from their own end. If you execute correctly in your special teams, you should get them inside the 10-yard line, get a stop, get a punt under duress that you might even be able to block. Because your defense has gone 3 and out 3 straight times, so you're finally playing good defense. And you get the ball back with a minute 10 left at the 50 instead of backed up against your own goal line, which is what happened. Mm-hmm. Just basic coaching malfeasance. The guy has no idea how to coach a game coach. These 4th down calls, ridiculous ones, have gone back for ages. And he has no idea what he's doing in recruiting. And he has no idea how to coach a team and keep a team. He's a charlatan. That's what he is. If you don't know what that means, look it up. And he should not be around the program anymore. I agree with you. If you're saving $7-8 million in 63, what's the difference? Just having him around, I do not. And listen, I have a lot of confidence in Mike Alford. I really, really do. I think he knows what the hell he's doing. But I think, and he knows a lot more about the situation than I do. And hopefully I'll be able to talk to him and find out exactly what why they're making these decisions. But I don't think it's he's clearly lost the team, and this is just going to become more of a joke. And by the way, you're seeing coaching changes make a difference. Hell, UAB went out and beat Memphis.
UCLA has won 3 games in a row.
UCLA's won. Hello.
And everybody thought they were the worst Power 4 team at the time. Yeah. I mean, against Stanford, they had 13 penalties. They got a penalty on the first play of the game, delay of game. That's like, forget high school. That's like Pop Warner, excuse my language, bullshit. Yeah. I mean, I've never seen that before at any like competent level of football in my life. And that just told me right then and there, I knew it. I think we all watched that and we're like, it's going to be one of those nights, isn't it? And it was. 13 penalties. You're jumping off sides on 4th and 1 when they're trying to draw you off. You're undisciplined. You're not well coached. You're not as good as you think you are. And by the way, shocking development. You have no culture at all, and you have no buy-in when things get tough because you built a effing roster year over year from the portal because you hit on it. Because you hit on it early when the portal was out and you were ahead of it and you had one of the first collectives in college football. That's great, but you got greedy. You thought you could do it every single year when the players that you got back then are not in the portal anymore.
That's right.
And you're not as well equipped to handle it anymore like you were then because the other big programs that are better than you have caught on. I'm sick of it. Analysis. This guy has lost to Jacksonville State. He's lost the first game in this program's history against Duke. You're losing to Stanford on the road in front of 20 freaking people at 2:30 in the morning, making us sit through all that crap. At the end of the game, everybody was like, oh, that was such an exciting end to the game. I didn't want them to score. Nobody was going to feel good about that game if they won. And honestly, It's better that they lost because somebody needs a wake-up call, and clearly it hasn't hit yet because we're still continuing on with this nonsense charade. And the last thing I'll say about it, I'm so fired up about this stuff.
I love it.
The respond thing, you know what? It's year 6. I don't need your mantras. I don't need respond. I don't need the climb. I don't need we're building. Let me tell you something. Respond. Mike Norvell, you know when he had to respond, JP? He had to respond after 2023 when his team went 13-0 and then did not make the college football playoff. He had to respond. You know what he did? He went into sadness. He went into heartbreak. He decided to go play a bowl game with his 3rd and 4th string players and get their ass kicked by Georgia, which made it even worse, right? It was embarrassing.
Yep.
Right? And he responded by then, it was just all this sadness. It was all this heartbreak. It wasn't like he was pissed off. Like, oh, you know what? We're not going to play this game. We're going to stick it up your ass. And we're going to come back next year and we're going to get you. And I'm going to go recruit. I'm going to go recruit like my hair is on fire, like I've never done before. I'm going to hold my staff accountable. I'm going to do all this stuff. You didn't do that. He didn't do any of that. And now he's still preaching the same message he was preaching before, and it doesn't resonate anymore. And here he is on the sideline, just looking heartbroken, looking sad, looking like he's going to cry. He had a chance to respond in a different way that would have ignited this program forward, and he chose the opposite. So Mike Norvell needs to look himself in the mirror and know that he did not respond well to the biggest adversity that he had to face. But he preaches it for these players, and they're just not buying it.
Damn, Nikki even went bullshit today. You used it a profanity. Well, your mother is beside herself. But I love the passion, bro. I love it. And that's the passion that so many people have for this program that Mike, I don't want to say he's not passionate about it. I think he tries, but I just think he's a charlatan. I think he's a phony. And the players see through him, and that never works. It never works. Eventually they find out who you are. And he just doesn't have it. And keeping him around, I do not think is a really good idea. By the way, is this not the most FSU ACC thing ever at the end of the game? First of all, evidently they don't staff the replay room at the ACC after midnight. How in the world do you not have the transparency thing on the replays going in this game? I haven't heard that, but I'm just guessing because they went home. They've been there all day. They don't have a second shift of people that comes in. So we had the replays done. I don't even know who was doing them, but it wasn't the way you normally do them, right? I mean, there wasn't the transparency of going back to the home. All they showed was the mosaic, but there was nobody there. They weren't talking about it. They didn't go to the audio. So the ACC, not only that, but on Sawchuk's play on that last play, he clearly is in the end zone. And the official comes running in and marks him not at the 1 foot line, but at the 1 yard line. Like, are you kidding me? The ball did not come down at the 1 yard line. It's either on the goal line or an inch short. And it's certainly, that's where his hip came down, not the ball. I mean, I think he got in.
I mean, full disclosure, I think he got in too.
Yeah, but they didn't have a shot down the line that they could see to definitively prove that he got in, which because the other angles were distorted a bit, because if you take it from, midfield or at the 30-yard line looking towards the goal line, it could be distorted. But it's clear by the mosaic that they showed to me that his body was across the goal line. And so not only are the officials going to screw FSU again, but they're not even going to have it staffed properly because you're the ACC. You think the SEC does that? You think the Big
I don't know,
Ten
man.
does that?
The SEC officiating, I mean, is pretty brutal. Pretty brutal.
But how do you not staff the damn thing after midnight? I mean, what are we, a little short on cash here, ACC? What are we doing?
I mean, my goodness. I mean, who wants to? Why are we playing? It's a whole other topic.
And again,
we're playing ACC
scheduling,
games.
I'd like
ACC
to know
games
just
at
for
10:30 at night.
Yeah, I'd like to know how many ACC games have been played by the East Coast teams going out there at 10:30 at night, East Coast time. I would like to know how many they've done. I don't think it's very many. So once again, the ACC screwing FSU in scheduling. I'm just like, it's so hard to be an FSU fan now. It's so hard to be an FSU fan. I'm not leaving the boat. I'm not jumping ship, although I am fully, I guess it's kind of a contradiction, although I'm fully on board with USF, and we'll get to them after the break. Yeah, this is a disaster. That game, you cannot continue to coach a team after that game. After all we've seen, I've made enough excuses for Mike. We've all made enough excuses for Mike. Now it's get the hell out of here. Get the hell out of here. It's almost disrespectful now. I'm tired of hearing him talk. I'm tired of hearing the mantras like you. I'm tired of watching him on the sideline. And by the way, these players, you don't escape blame. You don't escape blame. You guys are, I mean, I hate to say
this roster, they're spending the full rev on this roster.
God,
they are at the limit.
plus
for this
some,
roster.
Plus
for this
another
roster,
15 million.
For this roster, yeah. Plus, and you can't beat Stanford with backups.
You guys are
the
an
year of our
embarrassment.
Lord 20-25.
You guys are a freaking embarrassment.
And by the way, you want to know? I'm not going to put this on. There's many players who are at blame here, and that's why I'm so pissed at like the Edwin Joseph thing, because that's a 3-year guy that you recruited. He's been here, man.
Yeah.
And he's doing that crap. You know who showed the most heart on this football team? Ironically, it is the quarterback.
Yeah.
Tommy Castellanos has fighting that dude. Problem is he's really limited right now, and he always had a ceiling to him. And this Gus offense is just not going to work with a quarterback who can't move anymore. And so you kind of are seeing why the Gus offense is cooked after that.
Well, he's moving. He's moving. He's running fast. I thought he looked great.
I mean, if he looked good in that, I mean, the run that he almost got killed on, he actually was moving. It makes begs the question why we couldn't do that earlier in the game. If he can move, actually, I don't know, but the whole thing just needs to end. It just needs to end, but it's not over. So we move
Put
forward.
Castellanos in the slot and let Sperry be the quarterback and get him 10, 15 touches a game.
And also, can we get last thing, I guess, get Cromwell getting 5 touches the other night is unbelievable. That is unbelievable. You're going to make that kid transfer. That kid's just going to transfer, honestly, in December.
That's why you got to get rid of this coaching staff. Or at least get rid of Mike. At least I'm guessing that Gus has the wherewithal to say, I want Croma to get 15 touches, doesn't he? Is Mike keeping him from getting it? I don't know.
This was a problem. This was a problem. This was a problem for Gus at UCF. He did not love playing his young players. I'm telling you, I've been watching it. I covered it for 2 years. It's a Gus thing. It is what it is. We need to change the subject because
All
I
right.
need to get water. I need to cool down.
Let's take a break.
Just go over the whole thing.
Let's take a break. We'll come back on the other side, and we're going to hit USF and a little bit more on who's next at Florida, who's next at FSU. We haven't talked about that. And we'll hit some other stuff in the NFL. What a day in the NFL it was yesterday. All right. We are brought to you by the great folks at Genesis of Tampa. Speaking of USF, they had a bunch of USF players out last weekend to do an autograph signing, a little NIL thing. So they were supporting the program. So if you're looking for a new car, Bulls fans, why not Genesis of Tampa? They are the most technologically advanced, luxurious, and the value on these cars is off the charts, folks. Go check out Genesis, drive them, experience them, and then look at the price and go, oh my God, this is incredible. Genesis of Tampa, right there on 275 and Bears, around the corner of Nebraska and Bears, right there. Go see them and tell them JP sent you. Back in 3. The holidays are coming up, and the Golden Diamond Source wants to be your family jeweler. Discover the ultimate jewelry superstore with the largest selection of diamonds, engagement rings, and fine jewelry all under one roof. Don't wait any longer to find that one-of-a-kind perfect engagement ring for that special someone in your life. And as your relationship grows, so can your diamond with the Golden Diamond Source. Trade up at any time. You get 100% of its value when you come back to trade up. And why don't you get a head start on your holiday shopping? With the Golden Diamond Source's unbeatable low pricing and financing options, you can get 5 years, 0%, and make this holiday season truly memorable. The Golden Diamond Source takes pride in offering only natural diamonds formed over billions of years by the Earth's incredible forces. If it's real love, get a real diamond. Shop online anytime at goldendiamond.com or stop by their showroom and tell them JP sent you at 3800 Almaton Road, always online at goldendiamond.com. Welcome to Kingmakers, home of the JP Peterson Show studio and Tampa's premier business networking and social club for members only. By day, it's an exclusive, vibrant co-working space with a stylish conference room, focus rooms, a full production studio, and an in-house marketing team. And by night, Kingmakers transforms into a sports-centric social hub with a full sports bar, golf simulator, and exclusive events. For young entrepreneurs and seasoned professionals, it's the perfect place to work hard, play hard, and make big moves in Midtown Tampa. Close the deal, celebrate the win. Only at Kingmakers. Become a member today at kingmakerstampa.com. Your business, your club. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves, who lives right here and has long been a highly respected member of our community. He's a proud sponsor of the Tampa Riverwalk. Jeeves Law Group is also a proud sponsor of our Grand Central District in St. Pete and has neighborhood events throughout the year. He has an office on Central Avenue in St. Pete and one on South Howard in Tampa. You can't get more local than that. So when you need an attorney, are you going to hire some huge firm that advertises all over the state or the one that supports your favorite sports show? It's the Jeeves Law Group. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. For personal injury and personal attention, call us for a free case evaluation. That's 8889-JEEVES. That's 8889-JEEVES. With this record heat in Tampa Bay, you better have your AC unit running at peak efficiency. Third Generation Plumbing installs the best American standard AC units. Our split systems offer the highest efficiency available while reducing energy bills and maximizing comfort. That's why Third Generation Plumbing trusts American standard air conditioning, built to last, made to perform. Whether it's a new install or an emergency repair, our family-owned team brings 3 generations of trusted service to your home, now with the unmatched reliability of American Standard. Plumbing or cooling, we've got Tampa covered. Call Third Generation Plumbing today, 813-961-8024, or go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com. And we also do AC.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, voted number 3 People's Choice Award on Open Table. I want to thank all our loyal family of customers that have been enjoying our great traditional Italian dishes we make from scratch every day. It's a great family story we're proud of. Our family moved from Rimini, Italy in 1984. My dad, Caesar, started Donatello, and that's where I got the start in the restaurant business. I started Caffè Paradiso on South McDill in 1995, and we've been there ever since. From our traditional ossobuco, a veal slow roast for 4 hours, to our daily fresh catch, the Gruppo Paradiso, with a piccata sauce and lobster claw meat, homemade pasta like lasagna, farfalle salchicha, which is a bow tie pasta homemade with fresh sausage. Hold on a minute, JP's favorite.
I love it.
So come and have a glass of wine with me on South McDill. Get a reservation on Open Table and see all our 5-star reviews. Ciao, see you soon at Paradiso.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, we are back. Sorry for the delay there. Welcome back to JP Peterson Show on this Monday. We got Bucs Lions coming up tonight at 7:15. We're going to get to some of the comments here. And Nick, you're frozen, by the way, in my StreamYard.
Can you hear me though?
I can hear you, yeah.
Yeah.
But I can't do the comments as well as you can. So if we got any comments that you want to put up there, please do, and we can go through that. I wanted to, and you can go ahead and lead that as you will. I wanted to get into a little bit of USF, by the way. Their drubbing of FAU, and up 49,000 for homecoming. How about that? How about that at Raymond James Stadium? Huge crowd, great homecoming. The Rob Higgins effect is in full go mode. All gas, no brakes. Kind of like the football team. There's a little bit of drama in the game. How about the perfectly executed onside kick by the Bulls? I mean, they're doing everything that you want to see a good program do. They look so well coached. Even late in the game when there were execution issues, Golish was vigilant, man. And you could just tell he's got those guys playing hard. They got his back. It's absolute antithesis of what you see at Florida State. Great coaching, great game planning, great effort, turnovers, executions on special teams. I mean, USF has got it going, and would they move up to 18? I don't know. They may be a top 10 program now. The UF win was no joke, no fluke. The Boise State win was no fluke, and now they're going through their conference like wildfire. Memphis loses to UAB, so suddenly. It
should have been. This was going to be the college game day game, and they blew it. They blew it.
Yeah.
Now we have to go to SEC game day returns again. So it is what it is.
Yeah. What's the next stop on the SEC road
trip?
Well,
this week they're going to Vandy. They play Missouri, which I get it. I mean, they haven't been to Vandy since 2008. So like,
well, they
Vandy's
just had Vandy at
school.
Alabama though.
Yeah, but this was going to be Memphis and USF though. This was going to be it, and then Memphis blew it. So,
way to go, Memphis! Yeah, well, we need to get them to Raymond James Stadium, which I don't know if that's going to happen. There's nothing left on the schedule to make it look that way, except they just want to honor what USF is doing, because we don't. I'm trying to think of what's the biggest game we have left for that. For our biggest home game, we got what UTSA this week, and then at Memphis.
Memphis is this week.
Memphis this week.
UTSA. The only home game after that is the season ender against Rice.
Yeah, so it's not going to get it done. Well, then we could host the American Championship game.
Is that how the American still does it? The home team? That's how it was when UCF was going to all those games back when. Man, they might if USF makes it to the American Championship game, they have to open up the upper deck.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. God, can you imagine getting 65,000 fans in there? For the American Championship game, if USF hosts that, it better be a sellout. It better be a freaking sellout.
I mean, you want to take it one game at a time with USF, but man, I mean, if you get past Memphis this week on the road, which is going to be tough. I mean, I can't believe Memphis stubbed their toe like that against UAB. It's crazy. UTSA is no good. You do have to go on the road to play Navy. Navy is quietly undefeated.
Yeah.
They haven't played anybody. But they're undefeated, so they're going to be, that might be tough. And that's on the road too, by the way.
Yeah.
And then you get UAB and then Rice. I mean, everything is right in front of USF right now. And the difference is like, they're not stubbing their toe yet, like some other teams are around them. So
no, it's all gas, no brakes. And they're playing great football. They're playing up tempo. They're scoring a lot of points. I mean, they look dangerous. And we got to remember the talent level on this team is up dramatically, especially on defense. So there, at this point, there's nothing that USF can't accomplish this year. Now, get into the playoff, we'll see. But at this point, if they run the table, right? I mean, what are we looking at? Especially if they run the table with some impressive scores. I mean, this is not a team that should be looked at as, the 15th best team in the nation. That loss, it'll be a one loss to Miami team, which we haven't even talked about Miami yet. We knew that was coming. But Lord, what is USF doing? It's fantastic. And it's fun to watch. And a team play together like that and a packed house, really, really good. Really, really good. Speaking of Miami, didn't we tell you?
I gotta be honest. I thought Miami was different now, but
not as long as Cristobal's the coach, man.
Clearly not.
There's something missing there in terms of tactics, game management. There's just something missing. How they just did not continue to bludgeon them and run the football, I don't know. To put the game in Carson Beck's hands like that almost exclusively, he's throwing 4 picks. I mean, and some bad picks. I don't get that. That was, and listen, tip of the cap to Louisville. They're, Jeff Brom. Now there's a guy who knows how to win top 10 matchups. There's a guy who knows how to outcoach teams.
He's 4-4 against AP top 5 opponents. And I want to remind you, he is coached at Purdue and Louisville. Yeah. And he's 4-4 against top 5 teams. Like, I love Jeff Brom. Jeff Brom might be like, if you're going like strip away the program logo. Jeff Brom probably a top 10 coach in all college football.
Hell yeah.
And man, in any other like normal situation, you would be all over Jeff Brom to be your head coach at your program if you had it open.
He ain't going anywhere.
He ain't going anywhere. That man is Louisville royalty. And
yes,
by the way, he's got a chance to get into the playoff too now. And he's been winning 10 games at Louisville since he's been there. So I love Jeff Brom. Yeah,
I love it. But again, he's not leaving Louisville. But I'd take a shot. If I'm FSU, I'd certainly make a run at him.
Unironically, the two coaches that I would love for and this goes for Florida as well, and really anybody but especially Florida and Florida State would be Brom and Brent Key. But the problem with both, like Brom, Brent Key is at his dream job because he's at his alma mater. So it's I don't know. I mean, it's good for those two programs because Georgia Tech
to get Brent Key.
Georgia Tech is number 7 in the nation now. Number 7. Undefeated.
That's insane. I mean, but listen, and look at these coaches that are winning. It's so becoming the NFL now, And I said this when NIL came aboard, the transfer portal. A lot of people said, "Oh, this is going to make it even worse. The rich are going to get richer." And I'm like, no. Everybody's going to have money to spend now, not just SEC schools, because they've been paying their players for a long time. So is Clemson and Florida State and Miami. So whatever. These blue bloods have been paying their players for a long, long time. Now everybody's paying players. Everybody's on TV. Everybody's paying players. It's more and more the professional game. So what is that? So what's the winning edge? Good coaches who can coach during the game and make adjustments and see things. Clearly, Mike Norvell ain't one of those. I don't think Billy Napier is either. So these guys like Jeff Brom, quarterbacks who have played the game, who know the game. Right, Brent Key, grizzled offensive lineman, knows the game, knows how to get players to play, knows how to build loyalty. These are the guys that are going to be the winners. There was a time in college football where you could be the charismatic coach and hire some good assistants and recruit your ass off and have a brand and be very successful. But now you got to know the game. You got to know the game, and you got to know how to make adjustments, in-game adjustments, come up with great game plans.
Yeah. I mean,
Everybody's
truthfully,
got talent.
Yeah, truthfully, the sport to me, from an on-field standpoint, because off the field's a different story, but on the field, like, to me, this is as good as it's been. I mean, because the dynasty era is over. Nobody's going on a dynasty anymore because the margin of error, like, anybody can truly beat anybody in college football now. Like, you know how they have the saying in the NFL, any given Sunday, right? It's any given Saturday. It's any given Friday. It's any given Thursday. Like, it's gotten to that point in college football, and it's fun as hell. And it's to the point, like, you see now, like a Georgia team, for example. Georgia still recruits tremendously well, but Georgia doesn't have an overwhelming talent advantage like they used to anymore. And so that's why you see why Georgia now, every game they play is a dogfight, and they have to come back from behind. Like, their defense is giving up like 30 points a game now, but kind of how you said, the X factor is, look at who they got coaching that team. And you know what they're always going to have? They're always going to have toughness. They're always going to have that. And that's what Georgia showed the other day. You're seeing it with Alabama too. But, I mean, look, you have Indiana's ranked number 2 in the nation now. Texas A&M fires Jimbo Fisher. I think it's 2 years to the day almost now. And now they're the number 3 team in the nation. That was Mike Elko. Mike Elko was at Duke. He was at
winning
Duke.
At Duke.
And winning at Duke. Yeah. Like, it's amazing. Clark Leah at Vanderbilt. Like, that's insane how that's going.
That's another guy who knows how to coach.
Yeah. I mean, it's not as much about what that logo is anymore. That does not stop you. And that's why there's no excuses for anybody, really. If you want to be truly bought in and committed to college football, you could do it anywhere.
Yeah. Look at USF. Look at what Golish is doing. Yeah. And he would beat the pants off of FSU right now. Oh, man.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I know they lost to Miami, but by the end of the year, they may be ranked higher.
Miami's still going to be there, man. I mean, they stubbed their toe, but Louisville's a good team. Brom's a good coach. It's just kind of funny. Like, Miami it's just funny because, like, usually the top ACC team is, like, forced to play that Friday night game on the road, and then they lose it. And then you always have said that, like, why are we putting the best team in that situation? Because the SEC would never do it.
Never.
Miami got to play it at home.
Yeah.
And they lost.
They still lost. Right. Yeah. And I don't know what their remaining schedule is. I don't think they have Georgia Tech on the schedule. Pretty sure they don't. Georgia Tech
Miami still hasn't left the state of Florida yet.
No, that's what I was saying. Wait till they have the big road game to play.
Miami they have to travel to SMU.
Yeah. And by the way, FSU was not a big road game for them.
They have to travel to Virginia Tech, and then they travel to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Pittsburgh could be, tough. Virginia Tech's awful. Yeah. Mr. King says, will USF get an offer to move to a Power 4 conference? I tried to put that up, but it didn't go up.
I got you.
Yeah, they're going to a Power 4 conference. Listen, I don't know what this is going to look like. Nobody does. If they tell you they do, they're wrong. This could be a super conference, could be 4 big conferences that expand, but there's going to be expansion in the not too distant future. All the TV contracts are up in 2030. So you got it 2 years out. They got to reshuffle everything. So I think it's in the next couple of years, and they're moving up. They're going to move up. They continue their trajectory with the new stadium, everything, the television, everything they got going. The only thing they've been missing is having a credible product on the field. And I think this year, obviously in football, they've proven that. They've been on an upward trajectory, and now basketball, I think, is going to take another leap this year. I think Hodgkin's going to have a great year. I think USF is primed and ready to move up better than any other program I see that's not currently in the P4. Would you agree with that? I don't think there's another program outside the P4 that is better positioned to move up than USF.
Memphis tried like hell to get out of the American, and they got declined. They were trying to spend $200 million or something crazy like that to get out, and I think the ACC said no.
Yeah, Memphis has got. There's too much baggage there. They're academically, the city itself, it's just the stadium situation, even though they're upgrading the Liberty Bowl. USF is just so much better. Let's put Marty's comment up there, 1140. So Miami has a great team, average coach and quarterback. Beck had the yips. He was just throwing up prayers. And in this game, their great receivers weren't able to bail him out. Yeah, but at that point, do you just not, with that big offensive line and those running backs you got, just bludgeon them? You got to be committed, though. You got to be committed to the run. I thought that Miami just kind of lost their edge in that game, their physical edge that they had. Nancy says, thanks for the USF love, JP. Yeah, we love the Bulls, man. We're 100% on board. Yeah, and Christopher says, yeah, I can't believe they only moved up one spot. Yeah, but it doesn't matter, USF folks. You guys keep winning, you'll be fine. You keep winning, you're going to be in the playoff.
I was going to say, I think they're the only ranked team not in the Power 4 right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went and double checked. They're the only ranked team that's not in the Power 4. So that's all that matters. The one that's the highest ranked in the playoff. Once we get to the college football playoff poll, because remember, this is the AP poll right now. In a few weeks time, it's going to switch over to this college football playoff poll. Yeah. We'll see what the playoff people, whoever does all that, think of you.
The real sham.
The real thing.
The real sham.
Not the people in the AP poll who don't watch the games.
James says Kane's loss proves how bad Noel coaching is. I'm sorry, but why is Norvell still our coach? Why this whole organization is a laughingstock? You are correct, sir. That's why I don't see how he can keep Mike on. Again, I believe in A.D. Alford. I really do. I think he's a super smart guy. He's worked in the NFL with the Cowboys and their marketing, and he knows exactly how to drive revenue. And again, I think you're going to see a naming rights for Doak Campbell Stadium, Seminole Hard Rock, and also a Nike deal coming up that's going to give a lot of financial push to whatever needs to be done with Norvell. I just hate that we have to spend $63 million over the next 7 years, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. Whatever it is, that money should be going to players and not the failed coach. Just makes me sick.
Mario Christian says the spread has gone up to 6.5. By the way, tonight.
That's insane. That's insane. That happened in Seattle too, to the Bucs. The smart money's been coming in late against the Buccaneers.
They just don't learn, do they, about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? That's okay. That's okay.
Harvey at 1127 said the stadium needs to look like the spring game against Wake. Maybe that will get their attention. I'm talking about FSU. Listen, the Michael Alford knows where the fan base is and where the big money people are. Everybody wants Mike out. It's done. It's crossed the line. It's just a matter of when and how they do it. So here's the thing. I have confidence in Alford. He knows what he's doing. So he may have Eli Drinkwitz in his back pocket. He may already have a deal with him, and he doesn't want to upset what's going on in Missouri, and that's fair. That's what I hate about this stuff is it's like there's Lane Kiffin, Eli Drinkwitz, Brent Key, all these different guys. There's going to be rumors everywhere about them leaving, and that really shortchanges what's going on with their programs now. I hate that for their fan bases.
I hate, what I hate too, and I suppose I understand it, and I hate when coaches sitting coaches have to address rumors, like when they get asked about it, like there's no good answer. No. You say I'm committed here and I want to stay, and people go, you're lying.
Right.
You say anything different, and it's like he's out the door. Right. I don't know why we put coaches in this tough spot, and that's why I would tell you, like, I saw Alex Golish. I think he faced this question last week.
Yes, he did. Yeah, we played his answer. Yeah, it was
I will say, answer. Yeah, I didn't hear what you said necessarily about that, but I will say from what I listened to that, I think that's about as good of an answer you could possibly give.
That's what I said.
In that situation. But like everybody's like doing the whole game with Matt Rule right now. with Penn State. And it's like, I don't know what he's supposed to say in that moment. Like, it is his alma mater. It is an AD that he's close with, but like, he's also been saying all the right things about Nebraska. I don't know. Like,
yeah, I don't either. I'd hate to be in that situation, you know. Matt Rule wants the job. We all know that. I mean, but I think it's disrespectful to the fan base to constantly talk about where Golish is going, and I don't want to do that. He gave his answer, and that's it. I don't want to talk about it anymore. But as we roll down these lists, James Franklin, would that be a great hire for Florida? Of all the
cultural fit. Yeah.
I mean, he coached well at Vandy. He's he's been in the SEC.
I only ask because like Brian Kelly to me at SEC, it just seemed like the oddest fit since he got there.
I agree.
So he's kind of like the poster child of that's not a good fit.
But again, James Franklin is not a product of Penn State. He's I think he's more of a national figure and a good one. I mean, he's done a lot of good things. I don't think Gator Nation would be ecstatic about the hire, to be honest with you. I think Gator Nation would be happier to have John Gruden, even though I think James Franklin would do a much better job.
What do you
think about Gruden?
I hate it. You know what? I'm stuck on Gruden, JP, because I think we all feel like this connection to John Gruden because he won a Super Bowl in this town. And so like anytime his name is floated around, there's going to be a lot of people here that are going to be like, give Gruden a shot. Beloved.
Yes.
And I think I would love to see John on a sideline somewhere. I just wouldn't want my team to be the team to do it because I recognize that it could go south really, really quickly. And I legitimately I don't know if he can still coach. I know he says he wants to, and I know he does great breakdowns, but that's different than being on the sideline and being in the moment. And a lot of things have changed. I just don't want to be if I was a fan, I wouldn't want to be the team that takes the chance there.
My feeling is this on John. He would bring so much juice to that program that I think the fan base would just go crazy for it. And the press conference would be amazing. The social media would be off the charts. It's Deion all over again. It's Coach Prime all over again. But it's the same issues as Coach Prime. When you get down to it, these are superstars who have been well paid and have pretty much done whatever the hell they want to most of their life. And being a college football coach is a lot of doing a lot of stuff you don't want to do. Yeah. It's a lot of that. It's a lot of boosters. It's a lot of rubber chicken dinners. It's a lot of, but Deion doesn't do a lot of that stuff, and, the jury's still out whether you can be successful not going into recruits' houses. And I'm not saying John won't do that because I think he'd actually kind of enjoy that to some degree. But at some point, kissing a lot of this 17 and 18-year-old ass is not what John Gruden's all about. He hated young players or hated dealing with young players. But that was a different situation. He would understand that he has to deal with them. And I think he relates very well to the youth through his Barstool exposure. So I think he relates really well to them. There's a lot of positives about John Gruden. Can he win? That's good. That's the bottom line. I think he would be great at a lot of that stuff, but can he win? And college football's it's a little different in the way you have to handle all this stuff. So I don't know if he can do it. Is he going to recruit high school the way he needs to? I don't know. But I'll tell you this: it'll be on the front page every day. You want your program front and center. You want your program bringing in, energizing the fan base, energizing the booster base. You got to raise money now, $400 million for a new stadium, new stadium renovation there at the Swamp. I mean,
I think Florida fans just want wins, I think, over anything else at the end of the day. I think everybody does. And that's why, like you mentioned Franklin, there are drawbacks to James Franklin, and you have to deal with those. But you know
Yep.
what I know? James Franklin is always going to put out a roster that can compete with anybody in the nation.
Yep.
Sorry, he's always going to do that. And so that's why, I like him at Florida State a lot, because if you're telling me, okay, he wins the games he should win, he loses the games he shouldn't win, or he loses the games that you want him to win, but he doesn't, like the Oregon, the Ohio State, Michigan. Okay, show me in the ACC where the teams are that are those teams.
You're exactly.
I would, if I'm Florida State, I would have been all over Franklin. Like, I would have already moved on from Norvell. I would be all over Franklin. You'd get him on a discount because Penn State is already paying him all the money. Like, I would have loved that fit. Florida, I think anybody should entertain James Franklin, because I know what I know the roster he's going to put out there. Like, I like the guy. I can't help it.
James Franklin would be a great fit at Florida State. I think I think he'd be a great fit there. In fact, I wanted him before we hired Mike. I was very high on James Franklin, and I think he'd be a great fit at Florida State. I think he has, he says all the right things. He does all the right things. He's a high integrity guy. He's an authentic guy, which I think is a great departure from Mike. I think he would be a great fit. And to your point, if he's just winning 10 games every year, that means he's in the ACC championship game every single year.
Right.
And I think it would be a great fit. And if you hired him right now, you could really get started in recruiting, which he's really good at. He would hire a lot of the, recruiters that Mike Norvell was unable to identify and hire. You need better recruiters. You need better players. So I think Franklin would be a great fit at Florida State. I would like this. Rhett Lashley at SMU is another one.
I'm out.
You don't like Rhett Lashley?
You want to know why I'm out on Rhett Lashley?
Why?
Because he's a Gus Malzahn disciple, and he runs the same. He runs the same offense, and I'm sorry,
right.
but that offense is not for Florida State, so I'm out.
I would agree with that. Brent Key, although he's not leaving Georgia Tech. I love Brent Key. I would love.
Let's also put Mike. Let's get Manny Diaz's name off the list. I see people putting that because he's a FSU alum. Like, no, it's the Jed Fish thing. I don't care that you're an alum. Like, not happening.
Negative. Who else is out there? Marcus Freeman is not leaving Notre Dame. People put his name out there. I don't see that happening.
Florida has to call. But.
Yeah, I don't think he's leaving. So you start going around the tree here. It's slim pickings.
It's hard. I think Florida is Lane. I think Florida is Lane first. I would make a call to Marcus Freeman. I would go to Drinkwitz after that. I think Drinkwitz is you could sell him. I think on leaving Missouri for Florida. I think you could do that.
Agreed.
I can't think of another sitting SEC head coach though that would leave their post for Florida. No. Florida would want. Like, it's not like, Shane Beamer. No, not with the way South Carolina is going right now.
No. It's a weird time in college football, man. It is a weird time. With all these openings and the way the calendar works, it's bizarre.
I will say Florida, does Florida get in the John Summerall sweepstakes? Because I'm assuming Kentucky's going to move on from Mark Stoops, and that feels like a slam dunk for Kentucky to land Summerall, because he's a Kentucky guy and everything. But does Florida get in the bidding for him? Like, wait a second. Because at the end of the day, given the option, I can win at Florida. I don't know if I can win at Kentucky. You could, but it's going to be much more difficult.
If you're choosing between those two jobs, there's no choice. And as far as the jobs that are open, if you're ranking the jobs that are open, and I think Florida's a good job. But again, you're in the SEC, and I think so. This is why I think Florida State. If I'm choosing, it depends on what you're looking for. If you want to win a national championship, I think Florida State is a great job to have. You're going to have the best facilities in America, a talent-rich pool to which to draw from. I think you got a decent bunch of players that are here right now. You've got a good talent base. Not a fantastic one, but a good one, good enough to beat Alabama. I mean, that's a pretty good base right there.
So you got a good, solid base. You got a great brand, one of the top 15 brands in college football, probably top 10. Great facilities, and you're in the ACC, where I don't know how long you're going to be in the ACC, but at least that's an easier pathway to the playoff and thus the national championship. I think if you go to Florida, you got a lot of challenges. I mean, you're in a really, really tough conference. Your schedule year in and year out is brutal, especially with the Georgia game being a neutral site game. There's a few. You get all the money in the world. You're in the number one conference. Great fan base, great booster base, but a lot of pressure, a lot of maybe sometimes unreal expectations and a very, very tough schedule. So is Florida State a better job if you're James Franklin? Where would you go? If you had your pick and you're James Franklin, which job do you take? Are you still there, Nikki? Did I lose you?
I'm mulling it over because it's just tough. Like the thing was, it's like there is more uncertainty with Florida State because you are still in the ACC. I mean, you want to think that it's not going to be for long, but I know where Florida is. I know the revenue they got. Like I know all of that. That's tough. I feel like Florida's. I mean, I don't think money would be an issue at this point for James. Like where he has to go necessarily to the highest bidder because he's getting paid enough. Because if it was a bidding process, I would take Florida over Florida State there. I think you could go either way with it. I see some comments here at the bottom talking about Deion Sanders' name being mentioned for Florida State and Florida. We can move on from that. I think is it kind of crazy? Like in an alternate universe, like Deion's name should be mentioned for Florida State, but I don't think anybody's on board for that. And Deion has basically exiled himself, like that he ever went to Florida State. Yeah. So it's just not a thing. Yeah, that is not a thing, and I don't know. And at the Gator, could you imagine though? That would be a Deion thing though to go to. If Florida wanted to go get Deion, that would be such a Deion thing to go take that job, wouldn't it? Oh God, yeah. Oh yeah. 100%. Now that I think about it, I think Deion would welcome that. Yeah. Oh yeah, he would. He's there, and I don't. But you think Florida's going to make that hire? That would be hilarious though. It would. And I'm not gonna say he wouldn't kill it from recruiting. I'm not gonna say that. He would. And he would be able to put a better staff around him than he has at Colorado. Yeah, much better. And also, he would have, the spotlight of the SEC. It would be interesting. He'd bring a ton of juice to that program. I think I think in like a minute, I just sold myself on the idea. Can you imagine the FSU Florida game? I'm telling you, like it just feels like Deion is so slighted that Florida State didn't offer him the job in 2019. And he was nowhere near qualified at that time. He took Travis Hunter away from Florida State on signing day. Yes, he did. He has been openly talking about how he didn't go to Florida State now, even though his jersey is retired there. Yeah. I could see it, man. Interesting. Florida fans, how do you feel about that? Do you want prime time coming to Gainesville? Talk about juice. Nathan Elliott says UF calls Kiffin. Hi Lane, UF here. Want to come and coach here for a couple of years? We will fire you our AD and you can get a big buyout check. Are you in? Yes, of course. Everybody gets a big buyout check. Yeah, Nancy says, what about Deion for FSU? No, I don't think that's ever going to work. All right. Any other comments we need to hit there, Nick? I think there's so many here about. We didn't even get a chance to talk about Shohei Ohtani getting 10 strikeouts and 3 home runs. I was going to say we could do a little quick hits here because we took an extra break for technical issues. So yes, Ohtani is a unicorn. He's playing on rookie mode out there. It's unreal. It is and then game 7 tonight, right, between the Blue Jays and the Mariners. Yeah, I haven't seen one of those in a while. Looking forward to that tonight while we watch the Bucs game. What time does the baseball game start? 8? 8, I believe. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So we could have an all West Coast World Series, which I can't remember the last time we had one of those. If Seattle wins. But yeah, I'll be pulling for Seattle tonight, though. Yeah, I want to see the Mariners do it. The Mariners will be fun because they have never gotten there. The other thing we did have
but who's
we
beating
had
the Dodgers, bro?
Nobody. Probably Dodgers in 4, if I'm being honest. We had some comments in here actually about the Lightning.
Wow.
Oh, goodness gracious. Michael LaRue said, I know it's early, but I'm concerned about the Lightning's ability to defend and win faceoffs. I'm concerned about their ability just to win a game right now.
This is not a good look. I was talking to some folks over the weekend, and I wonder if we've just gotten to the point with these guys, like it's just the regular season is just so meaningless. How do you get up for these games during the regular season when the only thing that matters is postseason? And they understand they got to get there, but everybody, Lightning are still targeted. Everybody wants to beat the Lightning, and they don't have the juice. I just don't see it. They need a Baker Mayfield bad.
Well, why is it like they sleepwalk through like a whole period or 2 periods, and the third period when they actually like the game is still there for them, and the urgency picks up all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Like it's mind-boggling. And then if this team goes to overtime, I mean, forget about it. I mean, they're terrible. I mean, it's unbelievable. They can't win the face-off in overtime. They barely touch the puck against Detroit. I mean, Hedman, it's just got to go into the back of the net. It goes back the other way, and it's in the back of your net. You blew a lead against Columbus. I mean, granted, 2 back-to-backs like that in the same week is pretty brutal from a scheduling standpoint, but it is early in the season. But it's still no excuse. I mean, the Lightning, this has got to be the worst start I can remember them having. 1-3-2, last place in the conference.
Yeah, it's I can't sugarcoat it, man. It looks like a team that lacks leadership. It lacks energy. It doesn't lack talent.
No, but without Kucherov out there, it's amazing how much less I thought about the team without him out there, especially against Detroit. I was like, whoa, like they barely got a shot in the first period, and the power play without Kuch was
bad, really bad. Yeah, I don't know. It looks really dysfunctional right now. I'm not saying, I'm not giving up on the year. Obviously, they'll right the ship. They're too talented, but I don't know if they're going to have to make some major changes, like a blockbuster trade or something. I don't know. At what point, though? These guys are way better than this. So what? You got a coach that's been there. What is it? 14 years now for Coop. Mm-hmm. It's just a lot of the same stuff, and I don't. It's. They had one of the best regular seasons in the team's history last year. But it just feels like the team's got no juice, right?
Yeah, they don't have an extra gear. They just don't feel like they have an extra gear that they can get to. They just the mistakes. It's the same mistakes that we've been hearing for years, right? With the team, and it's mental stuff or just positioning. I mean, allowing guys to just come into the zone, and you got defensemen that are just backing off.
That's all they do is back up. They just back up. They never force the issue.
No, and they're not getting shots. Like the shots on goal total, every game I look at the shots on goal, and we're in the third period, and the Lightning have like 15 shots, and they're getting outshot. And then at the end, they even it out because they have a flurry, like against Detroit, where they were just throwing everything at Gibson. Right. But if you watch the full game, it doesn't really do it justice that they did not play well.
No, it's and again, it's not panic time. It's early in the season, but
you just don't want to dig yourself too big of a hole to climb out of.
Right. And, Coops, I think he's the best coach in the game, and he'll figure it out. Or they'll have to make wholesale changes. But this is completely unacceptable at this point. And the games just lack life. And I'm like, who's going to spark this team? Who's going to do that? Victor Hedman? I mean, Victor's unbelievable career, Hall of Fame career. But he's not that fiery kind of guy. Who's our Matthew Tkachuk? I mean, maybe you don't want a guy like that, but maybe we need a guy like that.
There's guys who got bite in them. Like Hagel's got some bite in him for sure. But
where is it?
Hagel has been. I mean, he's been. I can't sugarcoat it. He's been dreadful to start the season. Offensively, he's been really dreadful. It's been hard to watch.
Even there are times in the game when those guys, Hagel and Sorelli and Gensel, they can take over a game. with their energy and all of that. You're just not seeing it. It's mind-boggling. I wish I had an answer for you, but I don't.
The answer is Buccaneers. Save everybody tonight. Please.
That's right.
I think everybody needs it. If you're some combination of Lightning, Bucs, FSU / Florida fan, Miami fan, and you
Bucs
need
are saving
to,
us, man.
the Bucs need to
and
save
USF.
it tonight. The Bucs and USF are saving the town right now.
Yeah, they are. And that's good. So let's settle in. I cannot wait. I mean, I have so much anticipation for the game tonight. It's going to be super fun. By the way, we may hop on and do a post game show from the studio after. I'm not kind of deciding on what we're going to do, but keep up with our social media today. We may do a little pregame, postgame from Kingmakers today for tonight's game. So if you're looking for that, we'll be all over it. All right, good job, Nick. Appreciate you. Thank you guys for jumping in and contributing. If you missed anything, you can always listen as a podcast, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. Please make sure to check out fanstreamsports.com, our new website, all the local and national news you need. No paywall. So go check out fanstreamsports.com. We will see you tomorrow. Go Bucs.